Hey guys, welcome back to the Clack Shack. And before any of you get alarmed and start pressing 911 or anything like that, I'm okay. It has been a long, hot day out here. Uh, been playing catch up. I took off Friday from work to try to get caught up. Luckily, I had the opportunity to take off, and so Friday I got started. And between Friday and today, I have managed to construct 5 fully built stove covers, and I've got 3 or 4 paneled out that are ready to go to the engraving process. Also, as well as doing that, I have managed to get the roof on the portable clack shack, and I got my air purifier installed in it. And that's going to kind of be the topic of tonight's video, guys, because like I said, I've been working, and most of the questions that I've been getting, we've been getting them answered on the internet, so not really any kind of how-to stuff that we're going to be going through tonight. But I did want to share some of the stuff that I've been able to accomplish with you, and we're going to go over this air purifier that I've got hooked up and kind of give you the ins and outs of what that thing's about. So stick around for a minute. All right, guys, got a new toy in and got it hooked up over here, and I am actually shocked at this thing. I was thinking that either the fan wasn't going to be strong enough or the whole filtering of smoke was not going to be possible, but I mean, all in all, guys, I'm impressed. I do got the fan set at 50%. I'm guessing that's 50%, but it does actually have a lot of suction to it for lasers. So, you know, with my stove covers, I have to kind of engineer a clamping system for the jigs and stuff. And right now, I don't even have it sealed properly. I just threw a rag around the input just to make sure, because this is a setup that I'm just going to use for large engraves because I can't fit them in either one of my enclosures. So, all right, guys, tonight me and Fluffy will be showing you a new tool that we got here in the shop. You're going to have to quit, Fluffy. She likes it. Anytime I sit down at the table, she thinks that's an invitation to come up and get some petting. So, but anyway, today I'm going to kind of go over the contents of this box. And it's kind of a long story as far as the smoke purifier situation. I was looking at something to put on the portable clack shack because when you go to a lot of these booths or whatnot, venting the smoke and gases and stuff like that was going to be a problem, I felt like, especially in some of these, like this event that I've got coming up next week. The spaces are 12 by 12. Now, you can buy more than one if you want, but let's face it, I don't really need more than 12 foot. So I wanted to have something that I could use to try to minimize, I don't know that there is a cure, but minimize the amount of exhaust coming out of the enclosure. So I had reached out to Comgrow and was inquiring about their smoke purifier that they sell. And I went ahead and ordered one to use for this. And then after my inquiry, they decided they were going to send me one for the build. And I hadn't updated them that I'd already got one. So anyway, I wound up, I've got 2 of them now, which I thought was going to be a problem at first, but it's not, because I did. Fluffy, seriously? Because today when I was doing my stove covers, I don't know if you guys know, but I used the Comgrow enclosure for my stove covers because they will not fit in the enclosure. So I got a jig that I use to set up on the stove cover. I get the X tool in there, frame everything up. And so today I connected the one that I've opened, I connected it to the Comgrow enclosure today, and I ran it for 5 stove covers. And let me just show you guys this, because I mean, you really can't grasp what I mean by stove covers until you see this. But there you got, right there on the left, guys, center of the screen, that's a glue up. I got another glue up. There's one stove cover together there, one together there, one together there. And then I got 2 more over there. Oh, and there's a glue up behind those 2 in the center of the screen there. So that's stove covers. That's a lot of them. So anyway, I ran those 5 stove covers inside the Comgrow enclosure with the other unit, using it as a to keep down the smoke. So we'll kind of touch on that in a minute, but I just want to show you, this is the stuff that they sent me. This is an adapter to connect, you know, assorted size intakes to, and I'll leave this one out so you can see it. All right, so I'm assuming that this one's going to be identical to the other one, guys, so hopefully I won't be surprised by anything in here. All right, you're gonna have to get back. But the hose is it's flexible, but it's really stiff. So if you didn't have an enclosure, I mean, you could use this and just kind of aim it. It's got a little instruction book, which I didn't read. Surprise. It comes with this adapter, and this adapter will take it from that size down to I guess it's like 3-inch to a 4-inch. I'll get the measuring tape out in a minute and kind of walk through this with you. But there's a lot of this foam in here. I think I may have opened it from the bottom, guys. I did. So it's kind of, they give you like every option. Like this is the flex pipe. And like I said, it's got that in fitting. That's the very same adapter. So this one was separate on the other machine. So I'm not, I thought maybe that's what it was. Maybe this kit came with one. And then you got the larger hose, power cable, of course. It comes with plenty of hose clamps and a little screwdriver. And of course, in here is your power pack. Whew. And then that's the main unit right there. Let me make sure I'm not leaving anything else in the box. I'm not. But it's fairly simple the way it works. I mean, you gotta have your power supply, which is, it's a decent size little adapter here. And then you just plug these guys together. Let me get an extension cord here. Unplug my sander. I'm through sanding for today. I have sanded all I want to, guys. All right. And then it's got this little display on the front. And this guy just kind of goes in here. And like I said, if you didn't have an enclosure, you can kind of aim that. And it's, I don't know if you can hear it or not, but this little knob here really doesn't seem to do a whole lot until you get to like 30. Or maybe it's just me, but you can kind of hear it. You can kind of hear it gearing down. I'll try to get the mic closer. And it's relatively quiet. I've got the other one hooked up on the portable clack shack, so I'll show you it in a minute. But you open it up, and there's this little filter cube in here. And it's got activated charcoal, and it's got several different layers of like filter type material. I don't know how expensive those little guys are going to be. I really probably should have looked into that. But the only, I guess, gripe, if you could say, that I have is I really wish, and Comgrow, if you happen to watch this, I was thinking about this today. I really wish this unit had, let's say, an optional output that you could just take the filter out of it. Fluffy. You could take the filter out of it and maybe connect a discharge tube to discharge it outside. Or, you know, if you didn't want to use it in that application and you just wanted to filter, then you could, you know, maybe have like a removable cap, like just a plastic snap-on cap or whatever to cover that up. I think that would be an awesome little upgrade, because the fan in this guy is really, I like it better than I do the fan I've got on my second enclosure I built. It's got a little more suction to it. I mean, I know this isn't a pump, so it's not necessarily supposed to have a whole lot of suction, but it does move a substantial amount of wind. I didn't have any issues today when I was doing the stove covers. Normally when I do stove covers, my machine gets all junky because I have it inside that closure and I have to leave the door open to let the smoke come out, and then I got smoke in the shop. But I can say that today when I was doing those stove covers, I didn't have a problem with the smell of burning wood. So that was good. But that's the basic thing. It is, guys. I mean, it's a box. It has this little housing. It does have like a felt seal here. It's got the filter goes here, and then the fan is bolted in the bottom of the box. And it's like kind of like a PC fan on steroids, but it's built. It's kind of like a turbine shaped fan, so it's not your typical bladed fan. But it's so far it's impressed me for what it does. And I'm gonna move over to the portable shack, and I'll show you how I've got that one set up and how it's working for me. All right, guys, I have really been putting in some work on this portable clack shack here. This is the right side. This is gonna be my, basically this is the utility side. I guess if there was a utility closet side of this setup, this would be it. This is where all my electrical outlets are going to be here in case I need to charge a phone, or I got a fan I want to plug in. I've got me a couple of outlets I put up here that I can't put anything too big because this is a cheap power strip, but the battery backup is down here. But it's basically a massive computer power supply. So even though everything right now is connected to my extension cord charging the battery, I can actually unplug the clack shack here and it'll continue to run because that's an uninterrupted power supply that I've got it connected to. Now the alarm will start going off, but the reason I did this is not so much to run it off of that battery, which I can, but it is to be a buffer for the generator so that the generator isn't constantly surging or anything like that. Now the lights inside here, I don't have them plugged into the battery backup side of it, just a surge protector for now until I get everything else in. This is my access for my cables, and I did put a flap on here that'll come down once I put the cables in to plug in. That way there's no light coming out this way for somebody to see, and hopefully nobody will be over here messing with that. So I labeled it. But this is the device here, guys. I built me a little shelf and put it on this side, and the reason I did that, I didn't want it on top of my machine because of my glass and everything, and it does discharge air on the back side back here. So I kind of got it off to the left so that this air, as it discharges down that way. The intake is right here. I basically just cut a hole the size of this pipe, pushed the pipe through, used some HVAC sealer on the inside to seal the connection so that it pulls air from inside the enclosure. And I do have, like I said, there's going to be a little bit of a crack here because of the cabling and such, but I also have a couple of holes for cables, and I've also built in a 1/4 inch gap underneath the lid right here. But give me just a second, I'm going to move you around where you can see the inside where that thing, where the air intake is. All right, guys, there's my little air intake. Yeah, I made that on a laser, but it's over in the front corner, and my reasoning for that is, as you can see, let me close my lid. When I built this thing, I built in a crack, 1/4 inch crack, all the way across the back of the enclosure. The idea here is that when it creates a draft in the front of the enclosure, that air will travel back, the air is going to be pulled in under here, across the workspace, and then go out up there. So that's kind of the idea. Now there are some tiny cracks inside the around the glass and all that. I didn't caulk it or anything like that. But I've got my little LED lights installed. Of course, I do have my honeycomb spacers in here. And I had the machine in it the other day. I know some of you may have saw that, but until I get through with it, I'm not going to keep moving my machine. I've been burning out some little boxes and stuff for miscellaneous stuff, as well as I had to fix myself another keychain caddy to use on the booth here. But underneath, I'll give you a tour underneath too while we're here. You can tell I spent way too much time in the server room. I built my own rack system out of some scrap wood. And there's the battery. And I've got to do a little bit of building a place to put all those blocks and everything under there. But so far it works well. All right, guys, so I haven't got it all set up yet to show you what it's actually going to look like at the event. And to be quite honest, it may be at the event when you get to see what it looks like. I did, however, get a chance to get my roof on, and in doing so, I bought some. It's not tin because, like I said, I'm trying to keep the weight down on this thing. It still gained some weight when I put it up there because I had to have not only some type of material up there to block the sun and potential rain off of everything, but I also had to reinforce the top so that it was a little sturdier. So I did wind up putting a couple boards up there. And in doing so, I gave myself a place to rearrange the direction of my lights because I got to looking at the way I had the lights on there, and I had a lot of light out there, a little bit of light right there, but I didn't have any on the table itself. And to keep from having to add secondary lights for nighttime, I was like, it makes no sense. So I just rearranged the way the lights run. I've got them underneath the tin up here now. Kind of got like a little V-shape coming back to the back, and it works out well. I do have all my wires that are going to be permanently attached to this thing. I've got my USB for my camera. I've got my HDMI for the monitor, and I've got a USB that I've got permanently ran for the D1. Now, this doesn't have a dedicated X tool, so it's not going to be, I'm going to have to be putting some things are going to have to be placed on it the day of the show, unless I come across an extra machine somewhere. But for now, guys, I think I'm there. I still want to do a little bit. I've got to kind of get out here and play around with how I'm going to display some of my stuff. I want to do a little bit of playing with that. I likely will still have my little 10 by 10 tent, and I think I've got this thing situated to where I can pop it up kind of like on the back side and over the back. We're going to play with that, do a test run once I get closer to the event. But that way, when it rains, hopefully nothing gets too wet. I've got an idea that I'm going to do with some curtains, shower curtains to be more specific on the sides. In the event that it does rain, I'll be able to pull shower curtains closed and keep it from getting drenched and any of my electronics getting wet. But that's it for today, guys. Like I said, the little smoke, I'd love to show you how it works, and I will later, I'm sure, but I just want to introduce you to it. If you've got a need for something, I couldn't smell the smoke as the air was being blown out of it. I did notice on the front of the machine there was a little discoloration, kind of like maybe some dust like you would get on your air conditioning vents in your house. I don't know if that was because it was stirring up dust right there where the machine was sitting, or what that was. Because those little particulate filters that's in there, it looks like it would catch most of the dust. And I can tell you, and matter of fact, I guess I need to take this one out and show you. Because this guy here, like I said, I did 5 stove covers with this one today, and it did collect some stuff. So let me turn the lights back on, and we'll move over to the table. I do want to show you this before we move on. All right, guys. That is the filter from the machine that is mounted on the portable shack. And that's after today of burning those 5 stove covers. And just to give you a good contrast, I'm going to put the brand new one that we just unboxed next to it. So I am not sure exactly what all it's catching, but as you can see, it's catching something. There are a little bit of like particulates in that. I need to blow that out with the air hose maybe. But when it was coming out the back, I couldn't smell anything, and you can obviously see that there where the fan is. So it worked pretty well. I'm hoping that I can kind of blow this out and make it last longer. But that was 5 large stove cover burns on pine wood, so that's probably why it got so much gunk. And that is also why I like the air assist that I'm running on this machine is the Comgrow, and I have found that you can dial that thing down to where there's enough air coming out of it to keep gases from getting up in the nozzle, but it's not enough to cause scorching on the stove covers. So I've been playing with that and getting a balance on that, and I'm probably going to end up putting one of those on the portable clack shack and mounting it permanently. But for right now, I've got some air fittings and stuff coming to where I'm fixing to try to put my other 2 machines on shop air. And if I do that, then I won't be needing the 2 air assists that I've got. And that's going to free one up for the portable. So, but there's the difference, guys. That's what 5 stove covers, which was probably a good 5 hours of burning altogether. That's what that thing collected. All right, guys. I said short and sweet tonight, but that's what I've been working on, and I've got the other enclosure over here, and once I get a chance, I'm gonna come up with a way to do kind of a quick connect to connect it to that enclosure. Today, what I did is that hose there is just big enough that you can actually push it inside the coupler on the Comgrow enclosure. And so that's what I did today, was I just kind of stuck it in there to where it could pull from the inside of the enclosure, and I just wrapped me a rag around the outside to try to limit it pulling air in at that location. But and it worked pretty well. Like I said, you can see the debris and the stain. And before I put that thing back in there, I did notice that it does smell like fire. So the little filter was catching, obviously was catching some of the stuff that makes it smell like smoke, because it smelled like smoke. But like I said, I'll let you know more detail long term how it works. But I saw enough today using it in this open bottom enclosure doing the stove covers to know that it's going to work well for its intended purpose. Like I said, the filters, I'm going to have to, I did blow that one out with the air hose a little bit and got a lot of that debris off of it. So I'm hoping that that'll help prolong the life of the filter before I have to replace it. But I'll try to look and see how much the filters are, and I'm going to put a link to the purifier in the description, and I'll look see if I can find the filters and put those in there as well with and how much they are, so you'll have an idea. But like I said, just one more thing that I think is useful. The fan, the quality of the fan is much better than this little fan that I bought from my other enclosure. So I'm not too sure that eventually it won't get replaced, possibly with this guy. But for now, I'm going to keep it to do my stove covers, because the other enclosure is at least ventilated. I might be better off just to buy a better fan for this enclosure. I just don't think that one has adequate power for the enclosure. But anyway, that's it for tonight, guys. I appreciate you. I appreciate your support. The ones of you that had asked me about shirts, I got it working. It took a little doing the other day, but I managed to get it to work. So if you're interested in a t-shirt or a hoodie, which I got coming, I got me a traffic cone orange Clack Shack hoodie coming that I'll be wearing as it gets cold. So if you're at any of the events in October and you see a guy at the portable Clack Shack that looks like a traffic cone, it's going to be this guy. So, but anyway, I'm going to go inside. I'm tired, I'm hungry, and I'm ready to go sit down and relax. So I appreciate you, and y'all have a good night.